obviously we're going to talk a little bit about Slammiversary, but you've had a lot of baseball in your life recently. Big announcement for TNA. There's a Slam and softball game coming up for charity, and you got to throw out the first pitch with Jeff at the Mets game earlier this week.
Yeah. Did you see our pitch?
I did.
We do all right.
I think you did all right. I won't be as hard on you as John Alba.
John's critical about everything.
Yeah. I guess he has to be when, he's watching and covering the Mets a couple nights a week on SNY. So,
Yeah, well, we actually did ask if we could throw from the mound. I wanted to. Oh, well,
mhm.
Jeff and I played baseball growing up, and we were pretty decent at it, right? So I felt fine with it. It's funny. I was impressed though. They wanted us to do it side by side. They said, "Do not go on the mound. Whatever you do, do not go on the mound."
Mhm.
And we're right in front of the mound. But Jeff, I threw a little bit of a changeup. I was just going to make sure it was a good solid pitch right there as a strike. Jeff tried to put a little, he put a little pepper on it, which I was impressed.
Mhm.
It was great.
Is baseball like when you guys were younger? Was that your sport? If it wasn't
Yeah,
wrestling, like
yeah,
baseball?
100%. Our initial dream, we were big Atlanta Brave guys, and
Mhm.
the New York Mets. They beat the Braves there, but we were Brave guys coming up because they were the closest team to us. Dale Murphy, that era, we
Mhm.
loved the Atlanta Braves then, and I think our first dream as kids were to play professional baseball. I think that's what we wanted to do. But then once wrestling got a hold of us, it took over.
Mhm. Uh, one of the this was funny because there's a lot of wrestling night events and themes when you go to an
Right.
event like this. They had the mascot race where the one mascot got hit with a steel chair, but afterwards you guys put the boots to the Bronx Giraffe, and
Couldn't have happened to a better guy.
exactly could especially anybody that hates the Yankees, the Bronx Zoo, that's the reference. I'm getting maybe too far in the weeds, but uh the giraffe took a shot and didn't get back up, and I thought this was hilarious because Jeff kept doing the juke. I don't know if you noticed that or if you watched it back, but like
I
you're
did.
sitting there, you're like stomping them, and like it was kind of like that one run-in. I actually think it was your AEW or his AEW debut where he's
It
like,
was.
you know, like all this chaos is going on. It made me think back to that. Like he's just doing the juke while you're putting the boots to the giraffe.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, it was great. I think a lot of people have been inspired by the entrance. I mean, it seemed like Penta was just the other day in Saudi Arabia, right? When he came out, it seemed like he was pretty inspired by that entrance. Just take your time, chill, make a big entrance as you come in to make the save.
mhm.
That was a lot of fun, man. And I do have to tell you, I laid in a good haymaker on the Bronx guy there right from the jump. And after Jeff gave him a boot, I think he was going to try and hit him with a twist of fate center, but his suit was so big the guy fell down.
Mhm.
So I just started kicking him, man. I started kicking away, and Jeff just felt it, man. He was listening to the audience. He just started juking, man. They wanted it.
Is there ever a bad time for a juke?
Uh Probably when I'm getting my ass whipped, but besides that, it's pretty good at any time.
Mhm. And as I mentioned, TNA announced the softball game. It's the first ever TNA Slammin' Softball Classic. It's going to be for charity. It's benefiting the Merrick Belmore Little League. They're local to the Long Island area. That's where Slammiversary is going to be in about two
Right.
weeks. Uh, you already told me about, you guys played baseball coming up, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how the TNA roster collectively does in an event like this because I see it sort of being uh like the improv. So I'm gonna screw this up. Impact Provincial Wrestling Federation, like the throwback shows where like
Yeah,
all of you are great pro wrestlers in your own right, but it's kind of a nice test to see who does well outside of that element.
sure.
So, any tips or anybody you hope you get teamed with based on you think they're a good
I don't
athlete?
know. I mean, honestly, my plan for that day is just to go out there and do decent and not embarrass myself. So that's my plan.
Fair enough. And as long as you have fun and it's for a good cause, it's July 19th. It's a seven inning softball game. Frankie Kazarian's going to be one coach, and Brian Myers is going to be the other coach. So, we have the press release and ticket information up if you want to check that out. But you could go on TNA's website, check out more information if anybody watching or wants to go to the game or just find out more about it. Sounds
It
like a
should be a
real.
hell of a spectacle, man, no doubt.
I mentioned you had some baseball in your life lately, but I also saw you stop by Times Square or Broken Matt and Brother
Yeah.
Nero rather. What were they up to? We haven't seen what that was. It was looked like a fun gathering.
Yeah, you'll see footage come out later in promotion of Slammiversary. I think you'll witness the Broken Hearties. They were going to the most populated area probably on the planet, which was Times Square, and we were just going to go see what essences that we've known from throughout the years where they're hanging out and doing things. And we had a lot of really fun, crazy interactions, and it's wild because we just did Subway Mania a
Mhm.
day or so before that, and only in New York City, right, could you get away with things like this? And we're like, hey, what if we go full broken and we're in Times Square? Let's just try and make a scene. Let's see what happens, whatever else. And we get there at first, and we were like, what are these guys doing? I'm there,
Mhm.
I'm full broken, and Jeff, I crack him up half the time because like once I commit to the shtick, I'm totally committed, and I
Mhm.
say some wild things. But like we're there doing our deal, and then eventually people are like, "Oh my God, like that's Matt and Jeff Hardy. That's the Hardy Boys, man." And then like there are people bowing down to us, and they're like, "Oh my God, can we get a picture?" It ended up being a mob scene before it was all said and done. There were people crying, talking about these great moments when they were children and how we inspired them and influenced them. So it was pretty special, and we were going there to kind of create a scene and try and drum up some business for Slammiversary and excite people for it. And I think we got that goal accomplished.
Yeah, it's we've talked about this a little bit before, but it's always fun to see how popular you guys still are. Like, and it's not just one place. It's like everywhere you go.
It's why like we could not walk a block in New York City without being recognized two or three times. It's crazy. I mean, it's the fact that we have been blessed to be on TV now. Like we've been on TV pretty much full time since 1998, which is 27 years.
Mhm.
So like we've our faces have been on, and we look similar, I guess, to how we did in the past. And just the fact that we're recognized is crazy. We are recognized nonstop. We're recognized by people who aren't even wrestling fans, who have heard of the Hardy Boys and know who we are because we've been in like culture rap songs and stuff. There's stuff all
Mhm.
over SoundCloud talking about the Hardys and jumping off the top rope and breaking tables and jumping off ladders. It's wild, man. But it's cool how we're kind of ingrained a little bit in culture. We're even more influential to people than just pro wrestlers, which is wild to think.
Yeah. Part of it, I feel like, is the theme song too. It's called Loaded.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it was like a stock song or it was like publicly available. And
So
then
it's a music you can license.
yeah, so you guys made it your own, but I think I think it was like Spike TV or there was like a cable channel that used to use it in different ads and we're like, why are they using the Hardys song? Like, and
Yeah.
then it's like, no, it's not theirs. It's just they made it so popular. It's like it became their
Associated with us.
own. It's so closely associated with you guys.
Yeah.
One of the last times that we spoke, Jeff kind of mentioned that this run in TNA felt like a final run of sorts. How long, like realistically, do you guys, or at least yourself, see yourself wrestling full time like you are now, or at least on a pace that's like this one?
I don't know. We're both feeling really good. We're physically taking care of ourselves. We're big ice bath, cold plunge guys, and that's been a game changer for us. And we're feeling great. I'm actually dieting real hard going into Slammiversary. It's summer too. It's a great time, easy to burn calories with the warmer weather. So I'm looking at getting into to really tip top great shape again, especially for this event because this is going to be a big one for us, man. This four-way ladder match. It's the first time myself and Jeff are getting our actual rematch versus the Nemesis to try and regain, to try and procure the TNA World Tag Team titles, and we have to face a couple other teams in doing that, which is First Class and the Rascals. But this is a ladder match. This is a match that is associated with the Hardys. When people hear ladder matches, they think of the Hardy Boys now. We are the first name that comes to mind when you think about a ladder match because we're the guys who revolutionized it. We created the whole TLC staple along with Edge and Christian and the Dudleys. So this match is going to be indelible. It's going to be special, and I think starting at this match, you're going to see a new version of Matt and Jeff Hardy going forward from here out, and we're pretty excited about this. We've been ready to evolve for a while, and we we've really stayed patient to wait to this moment to do something special. So this is going to be a big night coming up at UBS Arena on July 20th.
That doesn't feel like it's it sounds like that's kind of specific. Like, are you saying we're going to see maybe a new version of Matt and Jeff, or am I reading too much into that?
I don't know. Read it as you will. I just I laid out some breadcrumbs and follow it to where it leads you.
Fair enough. Uh, Obviously, it's a four-way match. It's a big deal for you guys getting. There's the story with you and the Nemeths, but two other teams that are very popular, two deserving teams in this match. The Rascals, they have their own history in TNA,
Hmm.
and
Great team.
not to take anything away from any of the teams in the match, but I'm really impressed lately with AJ Francis's work. Him and Casey as first class have really added something fun to the Impact every week. Do you feel like AJ gets enough credit for his work? Because he's obviously said, this is, I didn't get the opportunities I wanted in WWE.
Right.
Now you're seeing what I can do. You're seeing what I, kind of how what he thought he brought. And I think he's getting over, he's winning people over. Very good, if you want to look at this term. It's like very good bad guy, very good heel. Do you feel like he's still maybe underappreciated in a way?
Probably so. I mean, especially where he came from. I mean, he probably gets a lot of flack because he's very vocal and outspoken on social media, right? So you have those people that are going to be the haters, but I mean, his job is to be a heel. The
Mhm.
thing that I do like about AJ Francis more than anything else, he's an extremely talented villain. He's really good at doing that. And when he goes out to the ring, when he starts talking, and whether it is on the mic, on Impact, or on the mic on a social media bit, or on the mic for his character on Twitter or wherever else, he is not afraid to he will relinquish his fear of being viewed as an asshole. And that's very important to be a bad guy in 2025. Too many people are too concerned with what the internet says. The internet doesn't mean anything. Like if someone's going to rate your match, this match was 5 stars or it was 4.5, that's irrelevant at the end of the day. If you are a bad guy, your job is to be hated, your job is to be disliked, and the good guy in that match, the hero in the match, you are to make people love them and want to see them win. And AJ's great at doing that. And AJ is very solid for what he does as a big guy. I think adding Casey Navarro with him has been masterful because Casey is so talented. He's smaller and it makes AJ look even more massive and he can carry the workload for the team. Together they're truly dynamic combo and I think first class has been great. And I'd said this when we were champions the last time. I would have loved to have worked a program with them and who knows, maybe that is something that will happen in the future.
Yeah. Uh, I think you have the right mindset as far as what it takes to be a great heel. But then there's, you know, like you and Jeff are massively over. I kind of mentioned that earlier, like when people go around the country and see you. Do you guys think you could successfully pull off a heel turn now based on how beloved you guys
Yeah.
still are?
It would be challenging, but it's something. This is weird. I don't want to compare us to John Cena, but I think there's some I think you could kind of compare it to that in some way. Like it's
Mhm.
very hard to turn John Cena heel because he is so beloved, right? And I think you have that, especially with Jeff, because Jeff is so beloved. But I think both of us together, I think we could I honestly think if we did something and we evolved into something that could be viewed as hillish, I think when it was all said and done, it would just make us bigger baby faces and it would be a fresh coat of paint on us. And I think it would
Mhm.
make us new and give us more layers and more dimensions when it was all said
Mhm.
and done. Could we be a heel team that is forever hated? I don't know if that's possible. I don't think it's going to be possible for John Cena. And I like how they're even teasing that he might turn back babyface, which I think ultimately he will. But with myself and Jeff, I kind of feel like we exist in that same regard in some ways. We could do it for a little while and we could play that role. We could try and make some people, but then I think at the end of the day, people are still ultimately going to cheer for us because we're such beloved figures from a lot of times from people's childhood now.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the Cena comparison is actually a good one because, maybe short term for like a little bit of a run, I think,
Yeah,
it could work like that. But it used to be the argument where three names I'm going to say is like Ricky Steamboat, Jeff, and Rey Mysterio. Those were like the three names that like under no circumstances would anybody ever say like they'll be a good heel. It's like
right,
they're
right.
they're they're like baby faces for life, and it's like, well. Maybe short term it could work,
Yeah.
just under the right circumstances. So
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, all three of those guys, very, very special emotional connections to the crowd, and that's what ultimately makes someone a star. That's what makes someone sell tickets. That's what makes people want to see them on pay-per-view and live in the arena. It's not necessarily the moves they do, it's the connection they have with them, the emotional investment they have in them. And those guys are three special guys. I was real proud of Jeff whenever he did the Antichrist of pro wrestling, in the early 2010s. And I thought he busted his ass. I thought he worked really hard to try and be a heel and try and get booed and come off as arrogant and cocky. But like you said, at the end of the day, it ended up kind of being a short-term thing.
TNA Slammiversary is coming up in Long Island. A bunch of new cities announced recently. I know you guys are
Yeah.
going to Rhode Island soon. Kingston, Rhode Island's coming up. Baltimore. We got Quebec. TNA's going everywhere. This is like the exciting part for me because
Yeah. Me too.
for a while it seemed like, and no knock on these cities, but it was like you go to Vegas, you go to Texas, there's California, Chicago. It's kind of like, there was some regular stops, but now it's exciting. Like Baltimore, like I didn't know this, like never had an Impact TV taping
Right.
or stuff like that. Like, are those things that maybe you've probably already performed in some of these cities, but like, is that something that keeps you coming back or makes you excited? Like just getting the chance to be in front of a new fan base or, sort of like a new experience after 3 decades in the business?
Yeah, it makes me extremely excited to 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 think that Jeff and I have had a hand in helping this resurgence of TNA happen. And we've done things. We put 5,000 people in the arena in January, and we've put multiple thousand peoples. We've been breaking records and whatnot in different arenas and venues, which feels great. And at the UBS arena, it's going to be one of the biggest shows we've had in company history, which is super cool, man. That we're doing that now. Where for the longest time, it was TNA LOL. People they wrote TNA off, but much like Matt Hardy, TNA will not die. And TNA is back. Is back. We're doing new cities. We're going to Baltimore. We're coming to Rhode Island. We're doing all these new cool things, and there's like this new fan base, and there is a new resurgence of love for TNA, and that makes me so happy because I think TNA is an integral part of the business. I want AEW to do great. I want it to do well. I want TNA to do well. TNA right now is actively in the procedure of trying to get a bigger platform, a bigger network to put their television product, whether it's streaming or some other regular station. But I think if we do that, and if we get on a bigger platform that people have access to, it's a game changer for
Mhm.
TNA all across the board. And that is something we're actively working on. And myself and Jeff, we're taking a part on that as far as like, they're selling it. Like, we want to be here and
Mhm.
push TNA to the highest levels that we possibly can, because not only do we have a great history here, we've had some great moments. TNA is integral to the success of the wrestling industry, in my opinion.
I agree, and I think some people forget that sometimes, where it's like you can root for your favorite, but that
Yep,
doesn't mean you have to put down other people or root for anyone's demise or anything like that. Like the wrestling business is healthy. It's good for competition. It's good for people to have many places they can choose to work. So,
absolutely. And the more places there are to work, it also means there's more places for production people to work. There's more places for retired people, agents, and people who are in creative to work. It just opens up so many jobs across the board. And the healthier the wrestling universe is, the better the wrestling universe is.
all right. I mentioned a few of the stops TNA has coming up over the summer. Any other appearances or anything you want to plug or promote before I close this out?
Man, it's big. I mean, you can catch Jeff and I at a ton of Comic Cons. The next one that we have coming up is going to be on July 11th, 12th, 13th. We're going to be in Knoxville at the Fanboy Expo, which is a huge con, lots of big stars there. And Jeff and I do really, really well at those things. Just last week, we were at the Nickel City Comic Con in Buffalo, and there were a lot of big stars there too. Danny Trejo, there were several guys. Some of the people that were stars came over to our table to meet us, to like interact with us and take a picture with us, which was wild. But man, it's so cool how we have been able to survive and thrive 4 decades in, and it's so cool that the people that have supported us for so long continue to help our popularity surge to a high level.
One more show I'll mention, Kowloon Hardy Party on August 10th.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do
You guys
that.
can
These
check.
Hardy parties are fun, man. Jeff and I love those. We actually did one in Buffalo, and we've been doing them all around the loop. The one in Calhoun's, John Alba is going to be there, so it's going to be a live recording that we do. It's going to be a first
Mhm.
run Extreme Life of Matt Hardy podcast. And the thing in Calhoun is going to be very great because myself and Jeff, we're doing a meet, greet, and delete where we're going to be signing autographs, we're going to be taking pictures, doing whatever else for a certain number of VIP people. And on top of that, you get to hear great stories. You get to hear an hour of my insight. You get to have John Alba ask me critical questions, and I'll get into the nitty gritty. We'll do an Extreme Life of Matt Hardy podcast for an hour, hour and 10 minutes, and then we'll take a small break, and then Jeff will come back and do an acoustic concert for about an hour and 15 minutes. He does a little comedy in there as well, but it's so great seeing Jeff so vulnerable and seeing him perform like this because he has such a great love for music and the art of performing as a singer.
Yeah. Like August 10th, check that out if you're up there. I'd imagine if you can't make it up there, it'll be on the pod in
Yep.
the near future. So, but lots of stuff coming up for the Hardys. First and foremost is Slammiversary. So good luck, and it's always good catching up with you. Thanks for the
Thank
time.
you, man. Always great catching up with you. Thank you, Bill. It's always great chatting with you, buddy.